Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. Let's just have a chat. It's beginning of November. This is my birthday month and I'm turning 50 this year. So it's quite a birthday. And I wanted to share what has been on my tarot table for the last month. I wanted to share also a couple of books that I have been reading when I was preparing for the Crone's Compass. This is an offering that I started. I have a first group and we've met once already, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to offer this again because it turned out to be such a nourishing, supportive and fun exercise. First of all, when you go through perimenopause or menopause, you don't want to sometimes just offload at your friends who may be not going through it and, start banging on about your symptoms and how you feel like crying and how you don't know who you are and blah, blah, blah. So having a container for that and a common language, which for us is tarot, I love it. So I'm so grateful for the 6 women that signed up for this offering. And if you are interested in checking this information out, the Crone's Compass description is still on my website, so you can go and take a look. I probably am going to offer it again next year. So yeah, look out for it. But in preparation for it, I have done last year or 2 years ago a year-long program with Sharon Blackie. When her book Huggitude came out, we were, there was like 500 women that signed up, and I've done this mythical kind of very fun program with Sharon Blackie on menopause and perimenopause. Then I found also these 2 books in my in my library. The Goddess Within, it's okay. Some things I actually liked, but some are a little bit, I don't know, there's just not my favorite book, but you can always find some cool information. So this one I haven't read the whole thing, but I checked some on the Crone, some information on the Crone. It was okay, not too much. And this one I found quite interesting, Passage to Power, especially the information on the psychospiritual mythical lore, because there is all this physical stuff, but the offering that I'm doing is not based on physical symptoms. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to talk about hormonal imbalances from the scientific perspective. We're talking about it from the mythical, from emotional, and from spiritual perspective. So this book has all of it, and some of the stuff that comes in it, it's interesting, and I find it really cool. From my previous, Sharon Blackie work, but also some different courses, I looked at some of the fairy tales, and very often a fairy tale that's connected to menopause is the fairy tale of the Handless Maiden. And how interesting that this was the mythic journey I'd done at some point with Sharon Blackie as well. It was before the Huggitude, and we did this Handless Maiden, and then I saw how the hands sometimes don't grow up as hands, they can grow up as wings. So there's some stuff that I've done, with the Handless Maiden before, and with some fairy tales that actually are connected to the menopausal transition. So I just found it fun to go through my notebooks and look at what I put out there. By the way, I'm curious, and if you know, then please share with me, because usually I have been using this Magic of I diaries, and I really like them. This is the regular size. I'm thinking of maybe getting the mini version this year, I love the ephemeris in the bag because, as you know, I'm an astrologer, so I very often need ephemeris in the bag, so I don't have to pull out my big book. And I love the kind of what they do each month. I think this is very like I use it, you know. This is from tropical perspective, but I use tropical and true sidereal, but from tropical, you know, this is really cool. Each month they write the biggest transits, the moons, etc. And I sometimes write down the moons in true sidereal as well. So, for example, which months did I do it? So sometimes, you know, depending on if I felt like it, but this is the constellational astrology. So this is real sky, and this is showing, you know, the tropical. So if I go into, like, I just wrote down all the moons in true sidereal as well. So anyway, I like this one. I received this thing, the astrology planner, from Rockpool at some point during the year, and I thought, oh, maybe this year I'm not going to buy the Magic of I just stick with this one. This one is quite interesting, but I think it's more for beginners. So she writes each month, so you don't get this clear information. You have to like read through it, and then you know Cancerian moon, full moon on 3rd January, and it's mostly moons based. But she also writes Mercury enters Capricorn, so there are the biggest transits. Also, they are marked. And it is for beginners because she writes, which is cool, you know, keep a close eye on communications as mistakes can be made. This aside, you could enjoy a very lovely get-together. And this is because Mercury square Neptune, Moon enters Cancer. So there is, you know, the prompt that Patsy Bennett, the prompts that she gives are based on the transits, which is pretty cool. So if you're not an astrologer per se, you can use this one. And they're not on every day, but most of them have some prompts. But I don't know, I just find it, I wish there was like a monthly summary, which, you know, it is, but it's very much in writing. And there is no ephemerides at the back, so I'm not sure. What do you guys use for your diaries, for planners for 2026? Let me know, especially if you use something with astrology. Share with me, please, if there are any maybe other planners that I don't know of. I also received 2 new decks. They kind of both not tarot decks, but they inspired by tarot, or, you know, by this tarot or oracles as well. So the first one is by Johanna from Northern Lights Tarot on Instagram, and this is Northern Lights Strength deck. It is created with the help of AI, so for people who, you know, don't use it, just so you know, right? And I like the idea of it because Johanna comes to it with this science of character strengths. So she writes that character strengths are the positive aspects of your personality that influence how you think, feel, and behave. The scientific study of strengths began at the turn of the millennium, leading to the development of the VIA classification of character strengths and virtues by Christopher Peterson and Martin Seligman. And this framework identifies 6 core virtues: wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence, each composed of multiple strengths. And she goes into depth with this one, and then she asks, you know, I mean, she gives you kind of little insights how to work with those strengths. And in this deck, she kind of mixes the chakra system, Nordic herbal folklore, animal guides, and also tarot. So she gives you cards for each strength that show the optimal use, underuse, or overuse. So you know, for example, let's say hope, and then you get the description of the strength itself, the plant, and then you have this tarot. So underuse would be 5 of Cups, which says no horizon, feeling stuck in the past or negative. Regret, pessimism. Star would be the optimal use, and that's hope, positive outlook and faith in the future. And then overuse, like too much of hope, would be the Pollyannaism, unrealistic or blind optimism, which may be wishful thinking, would be like 7 of Cups. I would even think, 9 of Cups would think too, you know, would fit too. So let's take a look at the cards. There's not that many. How many cards? I forgot now. Does it say how many? I think it's... I wrote it down. I don't remember how many it is. Let's count them while I show them quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can see the chakra colors, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, I love this, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So you can see the chakra colors. So if you pull a card, you will be also helped with interpretation, you know, what energy center this is good for. I like this deck. I like to pull, you can see in the booklet also, this is chakra coordinated. Here you have sometimes the animals, etc. So I like the use of tarot cards in this. I quite like the character strengths as well, the whole idea. So I think it's pretty cool energy, kind of checkup oracle, and can be a good like advice deck on how you can help yourself or strengthen on the day when you maybe feel a bit like low. So Northern Lights Tarot Strength Deck on Tarot, Northern Lights Strength Deck by Johanna. And she's Northern Lights Tarot on Instagram, so you can check it out. She ships from Sweden, and yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I also received this Rotten Tarot. The name is a little bit suggestive. It's not really a tarot. It's an oracle deck, but it's kind of quirky. So you have some, in the booklet, you have some, you know, spreads, and then you go into the cards and you have descriptions of the cards. So this is, I don't know, I see it like, you know, my nephew would love this one, okay? And it comes in the beautiful sturdy box. With also there is like a, you can see my unboxing on Instagram, and I received this burning map, which is pretty cool. I know that this person who sent it to me, what's the name? Jody Barton created this. Jody, you know, I'm tarot map, so yeah, I got the burning map card, which I find it cool. She also has, they also have, I don't know, Jody, is it a male or a female? I never asked. And since I'm not a native speaker, I know shit. I don't know. Jody Barton, who are you? So anyway, you get some funky stickers. It's more like this comic style. So this oracle has, you know, like a sense of humor. I know my nephew would love it, so he might get it at some point. But I don't mind a quirky deck. So this one is a little bit, you know, out there. And you have just like a phrase or a keyword, which also are very untypical, unusual. And yeah. it's not something that, you know, I mean, it's an oracle deck to use for a little bit like lighten your load, you know, get a perspective with a little bit of sense of humor. So I personally like decks like this, and sometimes I need decks like this. I also feel like the art oracles I always liked because it has this like quirky sense of humor, and it's just weird and crazy and a little bit on the odd side. So this one is also like this, and yeah, I don't mind. Sometimes it's not all about depth and, you know, going deep places. Sometimes you just need a laugh. Oh, therapist. Mirror. So it's for people who like quirky, it's for people who like to have a piece a little bit, you know, and it's on linen paper, it shuffles well. It's the quirky deck. So this one has many more, like much more cards than the other one. Does it say how many? 48. So it's 48 cards and detailed book with descriptions. So if you're a fan of, you know, oddities and a little bit crazy decks with crazy sense of humor and comic artwork, this one might be something that you want to check out. It's by Jodie Barton, and I'm going to link, I like the box, I'm going to link their account in the description box. Should I change my name to Burning Map? Anyway, so these two were new decks that I received. To be honest, guys, I didn't really get any new decks. You might be a bit bored with me. I got this tiny mini dark wood tarot. I never had this deck. I like, this is just hilarious because whenever I feel like whenever I feel I should be, you know, no, what I want to say is I never used to kind of like this deck so much. I mean, I didn't not like it. I just never felt compelled to purchase it. And then, you know, the Halloween and October, and I just wanted a new deck. But I just traveled so much this year that I don't really have too much spare cash for decks. And as you know, I have so many decks that I cannot justify getting decks right now unless they send for me for reviews, or unless I really, like, you know, in quotations mark, die if I don't get this deck, right? So this one just was a little tiny, very cheap mass-produced decks, and I got the mini version because I wasn't sure if I will really like it, but I really like it. It's really cool. I don't know how many of you use this. I know that a lot of people love this deck. I actually really like it. I might get the big version at some point, but the mini one is cute. It's only my eyes. I'm just getting a bit blind, so yeah, it's kind of weird. All right, oracle decks that I kept drawing this month is Folklore Oracle by Rockpool. I really like the artwork. I kind of don't particularly go very much for the Oracle book, for the companion book. You know, you always can find some information. This is not my favorite book, but it's just too much writing and not enough juice. I'm sorry, whoever wrote the book, but the deck is really cool and I like the questions. And the artwork is beautiful, so, you know, I'm sure if you have this deck, you probably like it as well. I love the colors, the kind of autumn vibe. It has really sweet art and it feels good, it looks good. I really like it. I think Rockpool do a great job with producing the oracle decks right now. It's very exciting. So Folklore Oracle by Hadass Knox by Rockpool. I like it. The same, I always pull it out around this time of the year, is the Earthbone Oracle by Syrian Shadow, also by Rockpool. And I love the turquoise gilding and I love the artwork. I do. I love the colors. This one has much nicer booklet. I use it, and I like the keywords as well. So it has a kind of name of the card, and it has a couple of keywords, and the keywords are pretty cool. I do have a review of this deck, so if you want to see all the cards, you can go to my playlist, Tarot and Oracle Reviews, and you will get them. But this is a very cool deck for autumn, and I totally like the vibe. And then this one I got from my friend Kasia when I went to the US, whenever I went in June. And I just used it for a couple of client readings and for a couple of readings for friends. And it's such a cool deck. I always am quite amazed with the information that I keep getting from these cards. It's a self-produced deck. I'm not sure if this is still available. It's the Heart Path Oracle cards by Nadine Gordon-Taylor. That's 44 cards. And I think it's her original artwork too. But the descriptions in the cards, in the book, are quite detailed. There's a lot of power animals on the cards. And this one I pulled recently for my friend, and she loved it, and I loved it too. It's the spiritual DNA, and it's this duck with 3 heads and black-eyed Susan in the eye, and it's just so much that she goes into the description about DNA updates and stuff. So if you like this kind of mythical energetic oracle descriptions and something that goes very much into symbolism and, you know, out there worlds, then you might enjoy this one. It's pretty cool. I pulled one card. Oh, exactly this. Journey to the Miraculous. New opportunities await you. And when I pulled it, I got so drawn to the blue rose. And this is what I received from Hetien recently. This is from the original artwork from Mary Magdalene tarot deck, and it's the blue rose. It is called the Hearth Keeper in the deck, Hearth Keeper of Swans, and the blue rose were the teachings, mystery teachings of Mary Magdalene apparently, and the description, you know, in the book speaks also about Essenes, about teachings from Venus that were downloaded from Venus. So it's a very mystical, very kind of starry-like altar. I'm still getting used to its energy. It's kind of like not very comfortable to look at. There's just something very miraculous and something mysterious about this altar. I love it, and I'm so excited that Hetien was so lovely and sent it to me. And yeah, I can't wait to, you know, just offload more and more from this altar, because I feel like there's depths and layers of knowledge that comes with this piece. Another deck that I really got into, and especially again in preparation for the Crone's Compass, I really like this deck, is the Cosmosis Tarot. I showed this deck a couple of times. I never see it featured. I think this deck is so cool. Again, it has a lot of interesting cards, and recently I pulled cards from, I also got it out of the shelf, the Poasis Oracle. So usually one card from the Poasis Oracle and one card from the Cosmosis deck. And recently I pulled, let me see if I can find it. And recently I pulled this one card, which was like Give from the Poasis Tarot, Poasis Oracle. And I got that card from, this one I pull quite often. It's 5 of Pentacles, but they call it Process. This image is quite interesting, you know. So, the Empress is quite empowering. I don't know, just fits the feminine work that, you know, we're doing during the Crone's Compass. But also the guide for our group is the Veiled One, and we often can go and like visit the Veiled One, and whenever I ask messages from her, I got this Strength card once, and this is the Enthusiasm. So from the Poasis Oracle I pulled the card Give, and then from this deck I pulled Enthusiasm, and you know, it's all feminine. It's like the blood mysteries, and yeah, so I just know, you know, I'm in this phase of like Crone's compass, blood, losing blood, not having blood, you know, never getting blood anymore from our period. So this was kind of quite empowering to see. And a lot of this deck, the images in this deck has this emotionally infused expression. And I feel like when you go through perimenopause or menopause, you often feel a lot of these emotions. So this Cosmosis Tarot deck, it's pretty cool. It comes with the little pamphlet, but also there's a companion book that you can get. Again, I did a review of this deck, so you can see all the cards. And there's only 4 more decks that I want to show. Of course, I'm playing with more, but Totem Flower Essence deck, but especially the Totem Tarot deck, is just one of my favorite decks recently. I just love the imagery of this deck. This morning I pulled first the 5 of Metals, which is like 5 of Swords, and then I pulled the Oracle, which is the Hierophant, but how beautiful is this? And then I pulled Venus, which is the Lovers. But I didn't even read Venus as the Lovers. I just read Venus and Oracle as Oracle, and like a maybe disturbance in you know, in the field. So you do need to like center or have even like a protection circle or space where you can receive the messages from Venus. And what's interesting, the altar I showed you from Hetien, and I did mention it, the Blue Rose, apparently the teachings of Essenes and the teachings of Mary Magdalene of this temple of the Blue Rose were, Anne Baring says this in her book, were downloaded or brought from Venus through Mother Mary, through Mary Magdalene. So there is some mystery about it. You know, there's not so much information there, so it's a lot of personal gnosis that maybe I need to, you know, figure out by myself through meditations. But just seeing these 2 cards made me think a lot about this particular subject. And in general, you know, this deck looks just so cool. I love it. It's energetic. I love the abstract kind of but very symbolic artwork. I love also the descriptions by Rachel in the guidebook. Highly recommend this deck. I really love it. And 2 more decks that stole my heart recently, and in a sense that I actually have used a lot. So this is the Wisdom of the Kalyak Oracle by Jane Brightson, and this is our the Veiled One is our guide for the Crone's compass. So she's out there on my altar, but I love this deck, and it's just, I love using it. I love drawing 1 card. You don't need many cards from this deck. They're very potent. They feel a little bit like Weaver's Oracle, you know, 1 is enough. I draw 1 Weaver for a year, which reminds me soon I'm going to be sending off Salmon. And this is one of my favorite Hierophants ever. This comes from the Gaian Tarot. But this is some strange edition. I know that Melissa Lucia sent it to me at some point. It's like hand kind of laminated. Maybe it's like one of the very first that Joanna Powell Colbert put out there. So the Wisdom of the Kalyak Oracle, and then I was thinking what deck, because we I kind of chose Rider-Waite-Smith as our common language because most people know Rider-Waite-Smith, and this deck by Carol Herzer really kind of came out and wanted to speak to me when it comes to menopause, perimenopause. I was trying all the other ones, but yeah, this one was just, that's the one that wanted to come, and it feels so beautiful. I really love this deck. So again, thank you to my friend Victoria for gifting me these amazing decks. Yeah, without her I wouldn't be able to play, so I'm really grateful. And it feels kind of feminine, I don't know, touches on my heart, but has also quite a lot of earthy power, and that's, you know, going through Crone's initiation, you kind of need a lot of heart energy and also a lot of earthing and Earth Star energy. So both of these tunes for heart and for the Earth Star chakra, and this beautiful deck by Carol Herzer. It's with glitter and fluorescent, and the camera never shows how amazing these decks really are. And with the girls in the group, we are talking through tarot, okay? So we're learning about the cards also from different perspectives, from the feminine perspective, from the perimenopausal women perspective or menopausal women perspective. We have two women who are post-menopause, which I'm so grateful as well that they showed up, because yeah, sharing this experience and being led also by someone who already went through it, it's quite incredible. So I'm sorry if I just talk too much about perimenopause and menopause, but yeah. That's it. I think I also want to mention that, you know, each year, I don't know if you guys do it, but each year I pick, you know, for the solar year. Last year I picked on my birthday, but I actually will stick to the Gregorian calendar and just pick it on winter solstice this year. So not on my birthday, but on winter solstice. But each month I'm shifting my cards and I'm pulling my cards out for each month on my altar, and, you know, just learning. There's an archetype, there's a tarot card, oracle card, essential oil, etc. And I also always write down, so this was the antler was my weaver for 2024, so I'm always writing the send off, and salmon is the weaver for 2025, so I always write what she kind of comes with. And this time I also put salmon as an ally, you know, as an animal ally. So this is also something that I'm going to do soon. I'm going to send off my salmon weaver. I'm going to sit with her, just think, like, you know, what I learned from her throughout the year, and where the strengths, maybe lives and gifts that she left me with. And that's, yeah, I'm curious if you guys do this monthly draw around winter solstice. Also, I wanted to share that the whereas the full heading reading is coming back very soon. It's one of my best-selling readings. There will be two versions as well, just for the cards and astrology cycles for 2026, and whereas the full heading, the full whammy. It's such a cool, you know, cool reading. A lot of you always gets it at the end of the year. So stay tuned, start saving up. The reading will be put up around the middle of November, I think. I will let you know on Instagram and on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for watching, for tuning in, and I speak to you soon. Bye.